Alrighty, what it do, what it do. Thank you so much for being here with me. My name is CJ Curry. My name is CJ Curry. This is the CJ Curry Show. Yeah, that's the name of it. It's presented by PrizePicks. Shout out to PrizePicks, guys. If you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, promo code Curry is going to get you that 100% instant deposit match on your first deposit up to 100 smackaroos. Guys, go down to the description of today's video. There is a PrizePicks link waiting for you to get signed up. Take advantage of this 100% instant deposit match, all right? It's my favorite way to play player props in daily fantasy sports right here on PrizePicks. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring the show. We appreciate you for allowing me to help other people, through this YouTube channel. Appreciate everybody who's joining me here this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. We got Michael Johnson. He's ready for Money Making Monday. We got T-Bone in the building. Triple M Day. Let's go. Everyday Fantasy, a.k.a. my man Don P. If you're in Discord, if you're in Patreon, shout out to my man Don P. AOD's in the building. He says, let's freaking go for the GOAT. Chef Curry, appreciate your support, my friend. Dave Gutierrez is here. Shout out to you, Big Dave. DG. Love that you all are joining me. So make sure you're subscribed, guys. We are over 8,050 subscribers at the moment. We're going to continue to build, continue to grow, and do the darn thing. I appreciate all the new subscribers out there. Speaking of, we got EMT Plumber who subscribed recently. IDCQWE also subscribed. That's a funny name, but I appreciate you guys for subscribing recently. All right, we got ourselves a 9-game NBA slate, guys. I released an early morning NBA primer video talking about all the games, talking about all the matchups, the totals, the spreads, the injury news, all that stuff. So we got that all out of the way. Go check that out if you haven't yet. It is posted to my YouTube channel. We will skip over that part today, but we will jump right into picking ourselves a winner from yesterday's show. So what we do every single day here, in case you're new here, maybe you haven't experienced the CJ Curry Show in your life before, we pick a free 2-pick power play winner. Basically, it's a risk-free entry, 2-pick power play on PrizePicks. You get both picks right, you win yourself $100. So to qualify for this, to be eligible for this, all you have to do is subscribe, hit the like button, and then once today's podcast replay goes up on YouTube, go to the comment section, leave a comment with your favorite pick, prop, or play of the day, and that will get you entered in to win automatically one of these risk-free 2-pick power plays, all right? Put $100 in your pocket. Put $100 in your PrizePicks account. So if you know somebody who plays on PrizePicks, somebody who's a friend, a family member, somebody you really care about, tell them about the show. Tell them about how they can get their hands on some of this promo money that PrizePicks is allowing me to give away each and every day. See everybody in here. It sounds like they're ready for us to announce the winner, so let's go ahead and do that. I've already got the comments loaded up from yesterday's show. We got a total of 19 unique comments left on yesterday's replay. So shout out to all 19 of you who left a comment. All that's left to do now, hit the start button, and we'll find ourselves a winner chicken dinner. All right, looks like the winner is Carson Hamelink. Carson, my friend, you are the big winner today. So you have grabbed yourself a risk-free 2-pick power play on PrizePicks. Again, you get both of those picks right. $100 will be added to your PrizePicks account. All I need you to do now, Carson, is send me a DM, whether that be through Discord, link to the Discord down in the description of the video, or Twitter at Curry the Creators, where you can find me. Link to the Twitters down in the description of today's video. I just need you to shoot me a DM. Give me your PrizePicks email address, and I can get that risk-free entry added to your account pronto, ASAP. So Carson, you're the man. You're the big winner. Shout out to you. All right. Guys, when we do our player prop research here on PrizePicks, there's a number of tools that you will see me utilize. I want to talk about those tools real quick before we get started. The number one tool right now for me, Daily Grind Fantasies PrizePicks Optimizer. This right here is such a time saver. It allows you to quickly and easily identify and find value on PrizePicks, meaning when there's a sports book that has a line set a point or two higher or lower than PrizePicks, that's value, right? Anytime we can get a discount on a player prop, a player projection on PrizePicks, we need to take advantage of it. This tool right here is built specifically for that, to help identify the value out on PrizePicks. And so for me, it's been a game changer. 37-17 on picks posted to Patreon this month. That's a 68.5% hit rate. All right, 68.5% hit rate. So the proof is in the pudding. All right, the results speak for themselves. This thing right here helps you find the best plays on PrizePicks, basically by comparing sports books to PrizePicks lines. So this is the first one right here that you need to be on the lookout for. Guys, if you want to try this out, promo code Curry. I've left a link for this down in the description of today's video, an affiliate link to get you signed up. All right, I am partnered up with these guys because I like their product so much and it's working so well. I said, how do I get involved? How do I become a partner? I want to tell more people about this. And now I'm passing the savings on to you. You could save yourself $5 on your first foray into the DGF optimizer. Lots of different options and packages for you to try out, but we're definitely going to use this tool today. That's tool number one. Tool number two. Now, this one you can, go a couple of different ways. This is a premium projection site. It's Fantasy Labs and it's got Action Labs, and they're a big, pretty big sports betting, fantasy sports conglomerate. Okay. They have really good projections. I use these each day. They're very good, but there are some free options out there. Numberfire probably being the #1 free projection site out there, whether that be projections for fantasy score, for single stat player props like points, rebounds, assists, you name it. Numberfire is a good free option for you to check out. But for today's video, I'm going to be using this. And then last but not least, the third step in my process, after using the optimizer to find the value, after checking to see if it's projecting well, I'm going to go here to props.cash and we're going to take a look at a visual component. If you want to see how these guys have hit on the over, hit on the under, that's where props.cash comes into play. Again, very important for you to be able to visualize how many times, how often a guy has went over or under on his particular player prop line. Props.cash allows you to do that pretty quickly and easily, and they offer a variety of different sports: NBA, NCAA men's basketball, NHL, coming soon, MLB, you name it. They're dabbling in it, okay? Props.cash, great way for you to do player prop research. There's a link for this down in the description of today's video as well to save yourself 25% on your first month, all right? So those are the three tools that you will see me utilizing throughout today's video. So without further ado, let's go ahead, go back to the DGF Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. We're going to hit the refresh button. We want to bring in the latest and greatest value plays, okay? Now, these are not guaranteed to hit. There is no such thing as a guarantee when we are gambling. This is gambling, folks. At the end of the day, got to call it what it is. It's still gambling. But what this does is allows us to identify some player props where the advantage shifts in our favor significantly. All right, in this case, like the very top play that you're seeing here is Nikola Jokic. Now, controversial play because I see a lot of people who are liking Nikola Jokic for more than any of his player props, but this one right here is Nikola Jokic at 38.5 points and rebounds. Now, the optimizer is suggesting that we would have a 54.7% chance of making some green if we took the under on Nikola Jokic at 38.5 points and rebounds. So again, let's go take a look. We know that this play is a plus EV play as highlighted right here on the optimizer, giving us almost a 55% chance that Joker stays under 38.5 points and rebounds. So let's go take a look and see what kind of projection we have for Nikola Jokic tonight. I've got him at 37.6. So his line is 38.5 points plus rebounds. When you combine the two stats, I've got him projected for 37.6. Again, these are not my projections. I don't create these. I simply use the tools that are provided to me, okay? So if it doesn't hit, don't get mad at me. These are not my projections, all right? I'm just telling you what the math says. The math says we have almost a 55% chance of Nikola Jokic staying under 38.5 points and rebounds. And we got a projection here from a reliable projection source, 37.6 points and rebounds. Now, I know some of y'all are scared of this. If you're scared, let me know in the chat that you're scared of going under on Nikola Jokic. He seems to be a very early favorite for over on everything. Everyone says this is a big game for Nikola Jokic, that it's possibly what determines the MVP of the season if Embiid ends up playing and Jokic and Embiid go head to head. I see a lot of people who are wanting to take the overs on Nikola Jokic. Well, let's look into it a little bit further here, all right? We're going on to step 3 of the process here. We want to get a visual component if Nikola Jokic has gone over 38.5 PR points, rebounds, at a high clip, or if he hasn't. We could go take a look at that real quick using props.cash. So we're going to take a look at the full season numbers here first and foremost. All right, you're going to see this is at 37.5. Let's bump it up to 38.5 because that's where he is at. But it's important to note that Nikola Jokic at 37.5 points and rebounds, 42% hit rate. So more often than not, he is staying under, going under 37.5. So let's bump it up to 38.5, and you can see the hit rates drop a little bit, 27 for 66. So he's only gone over 38.5 points and rebounds in 41% of the games in which he's played. All right, those are the facts, those are the numbers, and that's the way it looks. All right, and what happens when he goes against the Philadelphia 76ers? If Joel Embiid plays today, it might be a tougher time for Joker. At 38.5 points and rebounds, the last time that he played Philly, January 28th of this year, only 32 points and rebounds against the Philadelphia 76ers in that game. So he went well under the 38.5 points and rebounds line. All right, so he's 0 for 1 or 1 for 1 at staying under, however you want to look at it. 32 points and rebounds versus Philadelphia in that game. All right, well, what about when he plays at home versus when he plays on the road? We could take a look at some of the splits information. Is he more of a home splits guy, road splits guy? Well, he is he is at home today, playing in Denver. He's playing in front of the Denver fans. So let's look at that real quick. 36.7 points and rebounds for the season, 37.7 points and rebounds when he plays at home. So that is still lower than 38.5, 15 for 34 when he's at home. That's a 44% hit rate. So here again, guys, a less than 50% chance or a hit rate that he goes over. Looking at the last 10 games that he's played at home, it's not sexy at all. In terms of him going over, he's done so twice against the Clippers with 57 points and rebounds, and then 55 against Brooklyn points and rebounds. But otherwise, the other 8 games in his last 10, he has gone under. All right, 2 for 10. His last 10 home games, he's gone over twice. Okay, so that is a 20% hit rate. You can see where Philadelphia ranks 3rd in points allowed, meaning there's only 2 teams allowing fewer points per game than the Philadelphia 76ers. They also rank 3rd in rebounds allowed, meaning there's only 2 teams allowing fewer rebounds per game to opposing teams than the Philadelphia 76ers. So it's not the best matchup in the world for Nikola Jokic, especially if Joel Embiid ends up playing. I think his status is still listed as game time decision. So that could be your first play right there on PrizePicks. If you're not scared, you could take Nikola Jokic potentially under 38.5 points and rebounds. All right, low hit rates, projected to go under, 0 for 1 against Philadelphia, and it's a plus EV play, almost a 55% chance that he stays under 38.5 points and rebounds. But if you scared, go to church. If you scared, go to church. All right, we got our first super chat. By the way, my friends, if you have a question, if you have something that's hard hitting, a pressing matter that you want answered, you want some one-on-one help from yours truly, guys, consider using the super chat function. If you open up the live chat window on your YouTube app, you will see a little dollar bill sign. You click that, you can leave a highlighted comment or a highlighted animated sticker. In this case, Everyday Fantasy has left a comment for us. Shout out to you. Thank you for leaving that super chat. He's talking about some Devin Booker under 6 assists. He's at 5.5 on the books. Please look at it. Well, you got it, my man. I will definitely take a look at it. So that's a super chat. Highlight your comment, guarantees that I see it and give you that one-on-one support and help that you need. So we're going to look at Devin Booker real quick. You can see that he's already pulled up here on the DGF, Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, at 6 assists on PrizePicks, 5.5 on your favorite sports books. Daily Grind Fantasy is giving this a minus 140 odds to go under. Okay, to go under. 54.6% chance that he stays under. So let's pull a projection up here on Devin Booker. Step 1, is it a plus EV play? We can confidently answer that question by saying yes, Devin Booker under 6 assists is a plus EV play. We've got him projected now. Step number 2, we've got him projected at 5.4 dimes. That is less than 6 assists, slightly more than 5, but less than 6. He is at 5.5 on the sports books. All right. So far, so good. Plus EV play, correct. Projection under 6, Correct. Now let's go look at the hit rates here for Devin Booker. We're going to go to the assist category using props.cash. We're going to go find the Phoenix Suns Utah Jazz tonight. Again, this game could turn into one of those blowout type of games here, especially if Lauri Markkanen ends up sitting out for Utah. It's already a 6.5 point spread. If Lauri Markkanen is ruled out, well, then things could go off the rails pretty quickly here for the Jazz. Phoenix, though, Devin Booker, for his last 10 games, has gone over in just 3 out of 10. That is a 30% hit rate. Let's take a look at what he's done this season. All right, this season, 5.5 is where we have his line set on props.cash. 5.5 assists. He has gone under this number in 7 straight games. He stayed under 5.5 assists. Again, he is at 6 on PrizePicks. So if we bump this up to 6.5, right? Because if we take the under at 6, we're hoping that he stays under 7 assists, right? Under 7 assists. He's only hit 7 or more dimes in 32% of the games in which he has played this season. That's just 15 for 47. Has taken the floor 47 times. Has gone under 7 assists quite a bit here. Just a 32% hit rate at 7 or better. All right, so there's only been 15 times where he has gone over 6 assists. Now against the Utah Jazz, let's go look at those matchups. Now this is where things could get a little bit dicey, a little bit scary. All right, he's played Utah twice now. Now without going back and seeing who was active for Phoenix, was Chris Paul in? Was DeAndre Ayton playing? What was the situation? Who was healthy? Who wasn't? I'm not going to go back and do all that. You can on your own, but just to show you here, he's played Utah twice, has gone over 6 assists in both games versus the Utah Jazz. So yes, I have questions whether or not Chris Paul was in or out, but that's a story for a different time. But in this case, 10 assists and 7 assists. So he is 2 for 2 going up against the Utah Jazz. Again, I personally would dig a little deeper with a little bit more time, and I would look and see, was Chris Paul active? Was he not? But in this case, the game logs look good for Devin Booker at going over 6 assists. But that was the past. That was way back in November. The whole dynamic for the Phoenix Suns has changed quite a bit, right? I mean, they've made a lot of trades, had a lot of shakeup. Cam Johnson's not there. Mikal Bridges isn't there. Obviously, Jay Crowder hasn't been there for the entire season. They got a lot of different moving pieces and parts. So that's something definitely to consider, is that their roster construction is a lot different now than it was back in late November, okay? So just to recap this one, projected for less than 6 at 5.4 is considered a plus EV play. So if you want to put this one in here, here's how it would look alongside Nikola Jokic. You would go to the 6 assist number here for Devin Booker. You'd click less, and you would be, again, sleeping comfortably knowing whatever the outcome, no matter if it hits or doesn't hit, that you are on the right side of the mathematics behind the pick, okay? Projected well, plus EV play, almost a 55% chance to hit. So there you go, everyday fantasy. Dave Gutierrez coming through, doing the extra bit of digging for us here. Shout out to Dave. He says CP3 was out in both of those games. Very important to note. Chris Paul was not playing in both of those games. Chris Paul will be playing tonight for the Phoenix Suns. So that will definitely cut into Devin Booker's ball handling duties. Maybe tonight is another night where he stays under 6 assists like he has in his past several games in a row. So what else do we have here? Taking a look at the rest of this NBA board using the DGF optimizer here. We've got a couple of props that have already been bumped up or down. I kind of like to stay away from those. I look for clean wins, clean losses. In other words, I don't want a prop that's already been bumped up or bumped down. Like this one right here has already been bumped up. Agbaji has went from 2.5 rebounds up to 3, meaning he's already been bumped up. So I'm going to stay away from that one. I want clean wins and losses, and I think Chris Paul here at 27.5 points, rebounds, and assists on PrizePicks is one that maybe we should take a look at, because he's got a almost 54% chance, according to the optimizer here, to stay under 27.5 PRA. So let's go look at CP3 going up against the Utah Jazz. We talked about this one could be one that ends up as a runaway, as a potential blowout. So let's get a projection pulled up here for Chris Paul and his PRA. We've got Chris Paul projected for 28.7 PRA, okay? So his line's 27.5. He's projected for 28.7. The optimizer saying take the under at 27.5. For me personally, my move is going to be just leave this one alone. I'm going to walk away. I'd rather find a plus EV prop that also projects favorably. And in this case, we're getting some conflicting information. I don't like it. I'm going to walk away from it. No problem. Let's move on to the next one. Julius Randle, 4.5 assists. This one is also considered a plus EV play. We've got about a 3.7% advantage in our favor, giving this one a 53.7% chance that he goes under 4.5 assists. Okay, so let's dig into this one. Let's see what the projections are looking like here for Julius Randle at 4.5 dimes. Got him projected for 4.3 assists. That is clearly less than 4.5. He would need 5 or more to do us dirty and ruin our pick, right? So he's projected for 4.3. He needs 5. 4.3, obviously closer to 4 than it is 5, right? So we should be thinking about maybe taking the under here at 4.5, being that it is plus EV, that he is projected for less than 4.5. Again, you're never going to see me or hear me say anything like, I'm going to go with my gut. My heart's telling me this. No, I don't care about feelings when it comes to sports betting. I don't care about feelings when it comes to these player props. I'm going to go right by the numbers, and I'm going to do that because I know that over the long haul, I think I'll be more profitable rather than me going with my own gut or intuition, okay? So we're going by the numbers here. Whether it works out or not, well, that's out of my control. All I can do is put myself in the best position to win. And that's where that optimizer and these projections and looking at game logs helps us, right? We're just trying to put our money in good, get our money in good on these player props. So let's go look at Julius Randle's game logs real quick. Take a look at his dimes. Let's see here. We want to look at the full season view. He's averaging 4.2 assists. That is already less than 4.5, closer to 4 assists per game than 5 assists per game. He's 28 for 75 this season at going over 4.5. That's a 37% hit rate. I don't have to tell you, 37% hit rate's pretty bad, right? Meaning more often than not, he is staying under 5 assists than going over, right? That's what we're seeing here. 37% hit rate, 28 out of 75, 4.2 assists per game. His last 10 games haven't been so great. Just a 4.2 assists per game average over the last 10. We look at the last 5, 4.4 assists per game in his last 5. So that's the situation here for Julius Randle. If you want to take a look at the last 10 games, well, he's just 3 for 10 at going over 4.5. Again, indicating that we should be thinking about taking the under here on Randle at 4.5. Anything can happen. And the last time he played the Houston Rockets, he did go for 6 assists on New Year's Eve, December 31st, had himself 6 dimes in that game. All right. So there's a chance he could go over. I mean, anything could happen on any given night. Again, we're just trying to get on the right side of the math here, on the right side of the projections here. And they are suggesting that there is a chance for Julius Randle to stay under, almost a 54% chance for him to stay under at 4.5. So if you're looking for a third pick, there you go. Julius Randle, less than 4.5 assists going up against the Houston Rockets. So we got less, and less so far. Jokic, Booker, and Randle, 3 pretty big names, 3 stars in their own right. Yes, less on the first 3 picks of the day. All right. We got ourselves another super chat coming in. Let me address that real quick. Everyday Fantasy is mentioning Harrison Barnes, 1.5 3-point makes. He's suggesting the over on Harrison Barnes at 1.5 3-point makes. We talked about Harrison Barnes, the Sacramento Kings. Who are they taking on tonight? The Minnesota Timberwolves. He's at 1.5 3-point makes here on PrizePicks. You can see what he's been up to, my friends, as Everyday Fantasy has mentioned. 5 for his last 5. He's hit 2 or more 3-point makes in 5 straight games. All right, shout out to Harrison Barnes. He's been knocking him down from deep here lately. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I got to know if it checks the first box off in my process, which is this a plus EV play? The answer to that question is yes. Is it the most plus EV play on the board? No. Not the most plus EV play on the board, but it is a plus EV play, meaning the odds are in our favor for him to knock down at least 2 3-pointers tonight. 51.4% chance for him to make at least 2 threes. Of according to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Again, if you want to get your hands on this optimizer, I got a coupon code that'll save you $5. Get down in the description of today's video. All the way down to the bottom, there is a link. Click the link and get signed up, and you can get the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer in your hands and start playing around with it. But so far, yes. First question, Harrison Barnes, is it plus EV for him to make more than 1.5 3-point makes? Yes. Resounding yes. 51, almost 52% chance that he does so. So let's go ahead and go down to the 3-point make category. We got Harrison Barnes, 1.7 3-point makes is his projection. So we know that it's plus EV. We now have a favorable projection on Harrison Barnes. He's projected for more than 1.5, slightly more, but more nonetheless. Now the last part, let's go take a look at these game logs. We know he's been balling in his last 5 games, knocking down these 3-pointers at a high clip, 5 out of his last 5. But what about beyond that? Outside of the last 5 games, we want to see some more game logs for Harrison Barnes here. And we can do that right here with props.cash. Looking at the last 10 games now, 7 for his last 10, 70% hit rate, or 7 for his last 8, however you want to look at it, right? 7 for his last 8, 7 for his last 10. Either way, still very high hit rates, high percentage that he'll knock down at least 2 tonight. You could also take a look at his splits. Tonight he's playing in Sacramento. Maybe he shoots the 3 a little bit better playing at home than he does on the road. We can look at that information real quick using props.cash. So we go home, and you can see that his average is 1.8 3-point makes. He's hit 4 out of his last 4 games played at home. He's hit at least 2 3-pointers in 4 out of his last 4 games played at home. So that's looking really good, right? He's averaging more 3-point makes at home at 1.8 than he is on the road at 1.5. Tends to shoot it better at home. Has pretty good hit rates at home overall. And, he's been on fire lately from beyond the arc. So we got the 3 boxes checked. It's plus EV, slightly plus EV, 51, almost 52% chance it hits. We got a projection of about 1.7 3-point makes. And we've got a guy who's been hitting this prop at a very high rate. 5 out of his last 5, 7 out of his last 8. So things are looking pretty darn good here for Harrison Barnes. And the total on this game is pretty high, 239. 239 total points with just a 4-point spread. So it's a game that is projected for a lot of points, and one that at a 4-point spread is supposed to stay close and supposed to stay competitive through 4 quarters. So that could be another play that you add to your entry tonight. Harrison Barnes, more, right? More than 1.5 3-point makes. After going less, we finally find one that looks like a more option for you with Harrison Barnes. All right, let's see here. Dave's saying that Harrison Barnes, Minnesota Timberwolves are the 5th best at defending the small forward position. Well, that is something to definitely consider. What about how many 3-point makes the Minnesota Timberwolves have been giving up to small forwards? I'm looking at that now. Keegan Murray is going to be kind of your power forward. Sabonis obviously going to be your center. Last 7 games, Minnesota giving up about 2.1 3-point makes per game to small forwards, which means Harrison Barnes is going to need to account for all of those 2.1 3-point makes. He's going to need to make both of them in order for him to hit the over at 1.5. That is the 5th lowest when it comes to a 3-point make per game average to the small forward position, 5th lowest in the last 7 games. So the T-Wolves have been defending the 3 ball when it comes to small forwards at a pretty good rate over the last 7. So thank you, Dave, for pointing that out. Let's keep looking here. What else do we have? It's 4 plays that we've already discussed to this point, all plus EV, all projecting well, all with pretty decent hit rates. All right, Jokic under 38.5 PR. Devin Booker under 6 assists, Julius Randle under 4.5 assists, and Harrison Barnes over 1.3 or 1.5 3-point makes. Okay, all plus EV, all projected well, all with pretty good hit rates. Okay, can't argue with numbers. You can't argue with facts. Okay, so if you're here arguing with me, well, you're going against the facts. You're going against the numbers. I ain't here to argue. I'm just here to show you what I'm finding, and that's what I'm finding so far. Yeah, I gotta address this, Wesley. I thought I was the only one that caught that. Wesley mentioning that the dead man has just subscribed to the YouTube channel. Mark Calloway. For those of you who follow the WWE, Mark Calloway aka The Undertaker, has just subscribed to the channel. Hey, salute to The Undertaker, bro. Hopefully this isn't your last ride. Ha ha. All right, moving on. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, Mark Calloway. What else do we have here? Going back to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, let me refresh this thing. As I mentioned, you want to get comfy, cozy. You want to get into the habit of refreshing the optimizer early and often, as soon as you can, really. You want to keep refreshing this thing because there's always new projections, new lines, new odds are being introduced all the time here, and we got a couple of new ones up on the board. So these are fantasy score options, talking about Walker Kessler over fantasy score at 31.5. You also got Kelly Olynyk, his teammate, suggested that we go under on his fantasy score at 31.5. So I do have some fantasy score projections. Again, Fantasy Labs providing these, so shout out to Fantasy Labs. Let's take a look at Walker Kessler real quick. I've got him projected for 32 fantasy points. So the Opti says go over on Kessler at 31.5. The projection models on Fantasy Labs says go over at 31.5. They have him projected for 32 fantasy score. It's not a whole lot more than 31.5. I wish there was a bigger differential between his line at 31.5 on PrizePicks and his projection at 32. But nonetheless, it seems like you'd be wanting to take the over here on Walker Kessler's fantasy score. Now, one thing that we can do with Walker Kessler is go over to StatMuse. We can type in Walker Kessler FanDuel points logs this season, and we could just take a look at what Walker Kessler's done here with 31.5 fantasy score. How often has he hit this? Well, 1, 2, 3 out of his last 5 games. We go back a little bit further. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of that cluster of 5. So he's got about a 70% hit rate over his last 10 games at 31.5. Now, let's take Lauri Markkanen out here. So we go Walker Kessler FanDuel points logs this season without Lauri Markkanen. Important we spell his name right. And we can take a look and see what he's done without Lauri Markkanen. All right, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games played without Lauri Markkanen. So if Markkanen sits tonight, well, Walker Kessler's done a good job at going over 31.5 fantasy score without Lauri Markkanen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games he's hit the over at 31.5. For me, you could even go first half fantasy score if you're really liking Walker Kessler. He tends to score more first half fantasy points than he does second half fantasy points. He's more of a first half performer, all right? And we know that this kid can block shots occasionally, can get his hands on the basketball and get you a steal, but he's mostly got that shot blocking upside. So yeah, Lauri Markkanen's absence would mean good things for Walker Kessler and his prospects of going over 31.5 fantasy score. So that's another plus EV option that's projecting well for you. Good hit rates, again, especially if Lauri Markkanen is out. I mean, we could even go take a look at the matchup here. They're going up against the, did we say Sacramento? No. Utah's going up against Phoenix. So Phoenix, depending on whether or not they have DeAndre Ayton in, we could go take a look and see how many fantasy points per game that the Suns are giving up over the last 7 games. Bismack Biyombo would start if DeAndre Ayton ends up sitting out, but going and finding the Phoenix Suns here, you can see they're giving up about 58.7 fantasy points per game to opposing centers over their last 7 games. That puts them right around the top 10 most fantasy points allowed to centers in the last 7. So yeah, Walker Kessler would definitely be in a very good spot tonight, especially if Ayton and Markkanen are out. Easier matchup against Biyombo. And then if Markkanen's out, obviously more usage would go toward Walker Kessler. So that's another plus EV option for you. What else do we have here? I'm seeing some information being pumped in here. We got Keegan Murray over 1.5 3-point makes. Over 2.5. James Pointer is pointing out Keegan Murray over 2.5 3-point makes. Just to help you out here, James, with that question, Keegan Murray, currently a 52.2% chance for him to make at least 3 3-point makes tonight, going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves like we talked about. So somebody mentioned Harrison Barnes, Everyday Fantasy mentioning Harrison Barnes over 1.5 3-point makes. We got Keegan Murray also looking like a pretty solid option here at 2.5 3-point makes. So just to get you a quick projection on Keegan Murray, he's projected for 2.6 3-point makes, slightly more than 2.5. So yes, plus EV on Keegan and slightly more as far as the projection goes. So there you go. There's some options. Jaden's saying that DeAndre Ayton is playing tonight against Utah. Thank you for that information. That's breaking news. DeAndre Ayton is expected to play according to our ESPN insider, Jaden Randle. Thank you for allowing us to have that information, making us privy to that information. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Everyday Fantasy saying Minnesota gave up 16 threes last night. Okay, well, they're not defending the three ball very well as of last night. Let's see here. Drew Holiday has been ruled out, so there's some more breaking news. Drew Holiday is out tonight for the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's go see how that could potentially shake things up. Will they need Drew Holiday tonight going up against Detroit? Not really. It's a 17.5-point spread, my friends. So Drew Holiday is going to sit, meaning Javon Carter is likely to start in his absence. So you'll see a lot of Javon Carter running point tonight. And like I said, they don't really need Drew Holiday to win this game. Looks like Giannis will play as of right now, but always stay on top of the news, okay? Things change throughout the day. Like, nobody expected Drew Holiday to be out. But what you know it, Drew Holiday ruled out. So hopefully you guys were able to jump on some of that value. You got a short window. When a guy gets ruled out, you have to jump on these player props ASAP on a site like PrizePicks. All right. But yeah, that's about it for right now. I mean, I just want to recap some of these picks that we've talked about so far. Nikola Jokic under 38.5 PR, Devin Booker under 6 assists, Julius Randle less than 4.5, Harrison Barnes and or Keegan Murray for more on their 3-point makes. Those are 6 different options that you can put into your entries tonight. All hit the check mark for the plus EV. All hit the check mark for being projected over. All have pretty good hit rates here lately, so that's what you have to work with. All right, my friends. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. Those of you in Patreon, we'll see you throughout the day. I'm going to be posting, obviously, some cheat sheets for you on Patreon, some picks that look like good plus EV values out there. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, get subscribed, hit that like button, leave a comment on today's replay, and you could be like my guy Carson and win yourself a risk-free 2-pick power play for $100 on PrizePicks. Okay, I'm doing this every single day I go live, which is 12 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. And go check out my video from earlier today as I break down all the games, all the matchups, the totals, the spreads, the injury news. I break it all down for you. All right, go check that out on the YouTube channel. Appreciate it. Good luck tonight. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.